This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
We start tonight with a storm alert. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. A lot going on, Scott.
Yes, there is a lot going on tonight, and we have severe thunderstorm warnings. And not just your run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warnings. These look like they have a lot of wind with them, and it includes parts of the metro area. Right to your weather first Doppler radar here this evening. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for southwestern portions of St. Louis County, a good chunk of St. Charles County, and then northeastern Franklin County. That storm coming out of Franklin County right now, this is the one that's causing problems here. It's produced some hail, but the other thing we're really concerned about, let me put a little scope on there. It's not just that hail. You see that bright blue-green area right along Highway 94. This is pretty close to Dutso and moving towards Augusta. That's some intense wind. In fact, we look inside there and the wind may be going here about 65 to 75 miles per hour with wind gusts. And the radar is getting a pretty good sampling of that. So this is going to be pushing right into the Augusta area. And the track of this, just kind of looking at it, it's moving along. Those winds really have ramped up here in the last few minutes. Another strong thunderstorm, but not severe, is along and north of 270 into St. Louis County right now. But it's the ones here to our west where we have the greatest concern as they push in to the metro area. Let's go ahead and put a timeline. Those strongest winds are now approaching Augusta, maybe some hail just south of New Melle. This is in that same area. Remember back in 2010 in December, we had that tornado down that way. We're not seeing any signs of a tornado here, but we're seeing signs of 65 to 70 mile per hour winds with this. That can cause as much damage and even more widespread at times. So Schulersburg, and then once you go over into northeastern portions, just kind of east of St. Albans or very close to St. Albans, Petersville, and then over eventually to Baldwin on the track of this at 6:35. So not only are we dealing with strong gusty winds now, but we're also dealing with some hail in this storm as it continues to press in just along and north of the Missouri River here in St. Charles County. It's not the only storm out there. There are other storms back to the west that are continuing to develop and evolve. That one near Jefferson City and just to the south of Jefferson City, that's an impressive storm system. Here's the deal. This is all going to be continuing as we head through the evening hours, and it's going to get worse and more widespread before it gets better. Here's what we're thinking now as far as what we have to deal with going through this evening. All right. The greatest threat, we think, 8 o'clock to midnight for most of us. Damaging wind gusts, perhaps isolated tornadoes. There is a tornado watch for most of the area, and we have large hail, and in some cases, up to baseball-size hail possible with some of these storms. Right now, your main threat here to the southwest of St. Louis or west of St. Louis is across the southwest corner of St. Charles County coming into Augusta near the wineries there with wind gusts 65 to 70 miles per hour and perhaps some larger hail with that. We'll continue to keep tracking this as we go through the evening. Just know that risk is a risk this evening that is well founded, and you need to be ready to take action if these storms threaten you. Kelly?
All right, Scott. Meteorologist Tracy Hinton is in the storm tracker. Tell us where you are, Tracy. What's going on there?
All right, so we've pulled over. I'm going to take it right off of me to our shot here. So you're looking at that storm that Scott's talking about here. This is as you look off towards Weldon Spring, over more towards the Missouri River here. So you can see there's the radome. That's that white area there. So you can see where that is on the radar. We've been watching this cloud really start to drop down a little bit as it's come through. Quite a bit of lightning within it as well, but you can just see the top front of the formation here as it starts to make its way in towards our region. It's definitely been strengthening. That's been something I've been watching as we've watched this storm develop here. You can just see that lowering of that cloud, and we'll bring it back over a little bit here more towards the radome site behind it, because what you're going to see is a couple of lightning strikes. Mostly I've seen cloud to cloud lightning. I haven't seen as many strikes of cloud to ground lightning. That is an indicator of strength with this storm. We have not felt the gust front with this one yet. We are a little bit north of it, but you can see some trees in the background starting to wave around just a little bit. But this is the storm that we're looking at. I'll let you know if I feel any of those stronger winds, but we are to the north of it, so we're going to miss a good majority of the stronger parts of this system where we are. But you can see plenty of cloud to cloud lightning in here, nothing cloud to ground just yet. A couple of strikes here and there. A stronger storm cell with some heavier rainfall for sure, and we have seen the lowering of that cloud throughout as we've watched this. We've tracked this all the way from Warrenton now into the Weldon Spring area.
Thanks for that update, Tracy. And as Scott and Tracy mentioned, this is the time of year you need to be weather aware. You can get the Weather First forecast sent right to your phone anytime. Text the word weather to 314-425-5355, and we will send you a link.
The 15-year-old Hazelwood East student accused of beating her classmate and putting her in a coma was in court for the first time today. The charges she faces are so serious, she will automatically have a hearing to determine if she should be tried as an adult. Our Christine Byers was in court and brings us what's next for this case. Christine?
Mike, today's 15-minute hearing gave both sides a chance to check in with the judge on the status of the case. The attorney for the suspect, Mornice DeClue, asked to schedule her certification hearing, and juvenile officers asked to be given an extra 30 days to complete their report on the case.
The fight between Kaylee Gain and Mornice DeClue happened March 8th, about a mile away from Hazelwood East High School. Both of them go to school there. Greg Smith is Mornice DeClue's attorney.
She's had no history with the juvenile court, none. She has been the victim of bullying, but there are other facts that we're going to save for court.
Cell phone video of the fight spread on social media, prompting politicians and activists to get involved. In a statement issued Friday, the Gain family attorney says Kaylee has been moved out of the ICU, begun speech therapy, and has gone on a few short walks with hospital staff. The attorney also called for DeClue to be charged as an adult, citing a now debunked social media post 5 on Your Side verified as false as proof that DeClue lacks remorse.
But apparently when you draft letters, facts aren't really that important.
In court today, the judge noted he is purposely avoiding social media on the case.
That nonsense stays out of the courtroom. That's just noise right now. I mean, I'm kind of getting used to it. So we got our blinders on. We're moving forward. You know, and our goal is to keep her from being certified, despite whatever any other politician or attorney for a family would like to say.
Now, within just the last 10 minutes, Gain family attorney Brian Kamerer issued another statement acknowledging the post was false, but added the Gain family still believes DeClue should be tried as an adult. The judge scheduled Mornice DeClue's certification hearing for May 10th, along with another status hearing for May 1st.
A Baldwin homeowner who shot a man in his driveway says he acted in self-defense. The suspected shooter says he found a man sleeping in his truck this morning on Wild Forest Drive. He says when he confronted the man, he attacked him, so he shot him. The man was hit in the chest, taken to the hospital, no word on his condition. So far, no charges. Police are still investigating. Only on 5, new information about a decades-old cold case. The Lincoln County Coroner's Office has identified its last remaining Jane Doe.
Yeah, the missing persons case dates back to 1977, and finally, her family has some answers. Our Justina Cornell was the only reporter who spoke with the family today. Justina?
Mike and Kelly, she was identified as Jane Doe for almost 47 years. Now we know her name is Helen Grooms, and she was 15 when she went missing in Iowa. All these years later, the pieces are coming together.
For many, many years, I've always wondered where she was at.
Miles away from their Iowa home.
It's been some pretty exciting days in my life. This is one of them. Been a long time.
In Troy, Missouri, this family stands near the gravesite of a Jane Doe. For decades, information was missing until now.
She's no longer Jane Doe, so she's my sister, Helen Grooms.
Her name was Helen Renee Grooms. She was born in October 15th, 1962. She went missing on her birthday.
On her 15th birthday, Helen Grooms from Apollo County, Iowa, went missing. Her uncle Roger Castle and her brother Kevin Grooms never knew her body was carried down the Mississippi River to Lincoln County and would be buried in a Troy cemetery as Jane Doe. But year after year, they slowly collected clues.
And I know her stepfather killed her. Bad person. Beat my sister, beat the kids. On his deathbed, he confessed to his daughter, Curtisina, that he had killed her.
While the family in Iowa learned this, folks in Lincoln County would also discover their own information. Lincoln County Coroner Dan Haven said they've been working with the Anthropology Department of Southeast Missouri State University to solve missing person cases. In November, researchers exhumed the body.
This is the youngest person we've ever worked on.
And Dr. Jennifer Bankston donates her time with her students. They know the value of volunteering.
They start to feel personal sometimes too, and I think they should be, because that's what keeps us going.
Their team found a DNA match. The coroner made the call to make a connection, and Grooms answered.
The gentleman on the other line said, "You have my sister."
Grooms never realized picking up that call would bring clarity.
Brings up a lot of pain, but at the same time, it brings a lot of joy too, because I knew she was placed somewhere, and there's people thinking about her, because I always thought about her every day, taking away some closure.
A flicker of hope. Closure was finally found.
I want to take her home.
Taking her home where she belongs.
While the family believes they know who the suspect was, they still don't know how her death happened. Right now, there is an active police investigation for this case in her hometown.
5 on your side continues in a weather first storm alert this evening. We have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for western portions of St. Louis County and a good chunk of St. Charles County. This is your storm right along and just north of the Missouri River. It's been producing hail between New Melle and Defiance and Augusta. Just a few minutes ago, Washington, Missouri's airport reported a 72-mile-per-hour wind gust. The winds look like they have reduced some, weakened a little bit, but this still has squally winds with it, along with a large hail, and it is a threat across portions of St. Charles County, especially along Highway 94 and moving in towards St. Albans, as well as moving right along the Labadie Stacks and in towards Chesterfield in the next 30 minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning. Stay inside and away from doors. Your weather first weather alert will continue as we go through the evening hours.